back with a new video. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to all you celebratory folks. I am so excited for today. I am going to be making my Christmas dress, but I'm going to do it with a little twist. So I got this adorable vintage pattern right here. It's McCalls 5147. I got it off of Etsy, and I will link the shop in the description below. It was originally printed in 1959, and it is so cute. I just love it. I particularly love the black and white ensemble on the envelope, and I thought, you know what, why not embrace the dark side this year and make a gothic Christmas dress? And I have the most perfect fabric for this. It is a black Christmassy fabric, so I am so excited, so let us begin right away. At size 15, this is the largest junior size McCalls manufactured for this pattern. Unfortunately, I haven't been a junior size in over 10 years. So I graded the pattern and made a mock-up off-screen. Sir Paul kindly showed me where to lay the pieces because I only have a yard of this floral fabric, so I have to be very precise on my cutting arrangement. I love print patterns that aren't obvious at first. In this case, I don't think it's immediately obvious that it's Christmas fabric until one realizes it's covered in poinsettias, which are the Mariah Carey of Christmas flowers. For the remaining waist belt and skirt, I'm using solid black cotton that is already covered in atmospheric cat air. I had considered using black fabric with a kiss of pattern on it, but it felt like it would take away from the poinsettia fabric, which is the real star of the dress. Time for a cat intermission. Bless you. Alright, I cut 4 full-length panels for the skirt and... yikes. Someone also likes black. After I sticky all the extra fur off, I cut the rest of the skirt and then cut the interior pockets. The pattern features a rickrack trim, but I decided to use pom-pom trim instead because it's really the Michael Bublé of holiday trim.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
I got 3 yards in big blue and 4 yards in small blue. I begin by rolling the back split edges and top stitching, then sewing the 2 pieces together up the center halfway. I encase the raw edges in bias tape and then baste it flat. After darting the back, I line up the small pom-pom trim along the edge and pin. I baste the trim down before laying the black panel on top, and I follow my basting stitches with a straight stitch. Then I finish the edges in bias tape. I baste the belly panels along the side edge. Also, I did not film the front construction at all. My bad. Next, I line the collar with interfacing, then I line the right side with the small pom-pom trim on the curved edge. I baste this down like before, but before I sew the lining on top, I pin the front and back panels together, then I check to make sure my collar will fit between the notches that I had put in. Turns out I was overzealous when sizing the collar and it's way too big. So I rip out all the trim and cut down all the pieces before relaying the trim and basting it and testing it. And now it fits. So I sandwich the top collar and the lining collar together, tracing my base stitches with a straight stitch. I trim off the extra and clip the curves, flipping it right side out and ironing it down. I set the collar aside and sew the shoulder seams together, then straighten the raw edges before encasing it in 1/4 inch bias tape and basting it flat. After that, I pin and baste the collar down before going over it again with bias tape and a straight stitch. Then I clip the edge back and sandwich the seams and stitch over it. I then tack it down with a tight top stitch under the collar. I sew up the side seams, leaving space on one side of the zipper. With red embroidery thread, I attach a hook and eye piece to the back, and the bodice is done for now. For the pockets, I do a French seam around the outside and then bind the remaining raw edges. I sew the 2 front panels and the 2 back panels together at the middle, salvage to salvage. Then I sew the back to the front, leaving room for the pockets at the top. Then I pop the pockets in and sew them about 5/8 away from the top edge. Next is the fun part of sewing 2 loose stitches across the upper edge of all 4 panels. And by fun, I mean the type 2 variety. After that, I continue the thrilling adventure of scrunching all of that fabric down 1/4 of its original size as I pin it to the bodice. Did I ever mention that I hate ruffles? Because I do. The plus side is I get to sit in bed and listen to my podcasts or audiobooks without distraction. As this took me the better part of 2 hours to ruffle this skirt, I got a lot of listening done. After which, I basted the stitches carefully. I also sewed on one of the pockets inside out and had to rip that out and re-sew it as well, which went over my allotted sewing time, but I wanted to get this dang pocket back on. Okay, I get to turn off. At this point, I was getting really frustrated with this outfit and I just wanted to be done, which is why this is when things started to go sideways. Normally, with a seam this bulky, I will serge it down to help reduce that thickness, but I bound it instead thinking it would keep the ruffles better, when actually it made the seam much thicker, which seems pretty obvious now on retrospect. It also made it an absolute nightmare to put in the zipper. I won't bore you with all the times that I've ripped this zipper out, but it took me over an hour to be just okay with the zipper. I also had beef with these sleeves. This pattern really challenged me mentally. I referred back to the instructions a lot. Everything came out fine in the mock-up, but just like with the collar, the sleeves pulled a Grinch and seemed to grow 3 sizes, as I had the hardest time easing them into the armholes. Eventually I gave up trying and just accepted the slightly puffed sleeves. I also forgot to put in the trim, which I will come back to later. For the finish of the skirt, I ironed out some remnant blue bias tapes. And sew them together and then attach them to the raw edge of the skirt. I turned it over 3.5 inches, pinned it down, then aggressively attacked it with a lint roller before hand tacking the barely hairless hem with a blind blanket stitch. Seriously, what is the point of lint rollers? Finally, I added the large pom-pom trim along the bottom, only to realize that 4 panels equals 4 yards, and I only had 3 yards. Unfortunately, I did buy the last of the trim they had at the store in this color, so this is the best I can do for now. Also, I added the trims to the sleeves. From here, all I need to do is add buttons, and it is technically done. Time for this train wreck to get revealed. there you have it. My dark Christmas wishes have been accomplished. Although I don't think I really like the dress. First, I didn't have enough of this. And that's a big deal because there's a whole yard missing. And unfortunately I had bought up all that they had. I knew it wasn't going to be enough. Well, I had hoped that it would be enough for this skirt. That's why I got the smaller stuff for the top part. Besides, I also don't like how bulky it is right here. I think it's because I have 2 layers of this, and then I have the layer of this underneath. I think if I did this again, I would forego the second layer and just sew it down. I don't generally like all of this ruching. I really love how twirly it is and how full it is when I spin, but this just seems like it's super bulky and very unflattering for me personally. And then putting the waist tape on top of that, it just was a mess. I think next time I will serge it. I would serge it now, except my crystal corset kind of broke all the needles in my serger, and I just haven't had the time and money to replace it. I also don't like the zipper. The zipper was an absolute nightmare because it's so thick right here with the waist tape and the bunched up and the ruched up skirt. It just was a nightmare, and I'm glad it's over, but I don't think it's going to stay this way. But I mean, overall, it's not the worst thing I ever made, and it's definitely not something I absolutely hate. It's more of I need to come back to it and make it better. I also kind of want to replace these with more fun, maybe like poinsettia buttons. I think that would be cute. I have poinsettia buttons. Anyway, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing. I release a new video every other Sunday, and just a heads up that this is going to be my last sewing project for the year. Obviously I only have a week left, but I'm probably going to take January off from sewing just to get things organized and ready for the new year, and I kind of need a break with the holidays. But I will be posting new videos every other week with maybe some craft kind of things. So, you know, if you want to see that, consider subscribing. And if that's not your jam, I guess see you in February. Until then, you have a good day. Bye. One more time. Da-da-da-da. What did I say last time? Hello, I'm Ariel, and this is my new video. Cannot remember. Look at this skirt. Isn't it cute? This is the one I made last year. I remade the suspenders and, well, added them, and I think it looks so cute. I'm sorry, it look really cute. Look at that. I wish these ones hung down longer, but I can't get them to stay long. Anyway, I'm gonna go take some pictures. Hey! Stop it.